Joining us on the Buck Stops Here weekend edition, Professor Sugata Bose, Gardiner Professor of History at Harvard, Netaji's grandnephew, but also someone who's written perhaps one of the most authoritative biographies of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, His Majesty's opponent. It's a pleasure to have you on the show, Professor Bose. There's a great deal of speculation currently that the government is considering a Bharat Ratna for Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. How do you, both as a relative and indeed a biographer of Netaji, respond to these reports?
I'll give you my answer as a historian and biographer and a citizen of India. I hope that the speculation is baseless. I firmly believe that Mahatma Gandhi and Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose should be kept above the Bharat Ratna. They belong to a category of their own. Let us honor Netaji by following his ideals.
Professor Bose, do you think in terms of recognition for the enormous role that Netaji played in the history of India's freedom struggle, then it's almost ludicrous to try and confer any kind of award on him, even if it is the Bharat Ratna?
Anyone who has a sense of history will agree with me, I think, that this is an award that has been given to 43 distinguished people. Most of them have made important contributions in different walks of life in the post-independence period. And we should think of the two greatest leaders of our freedom struggle in a different vein. And I would be very sorry to see Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose's name being bracketed with anyone other than Mahatma Gandhi.
Fair enough, Professor Bose, but while the then government had announced the Bharat Ratna for Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose in 1992, it wasn't actually ever conferred. A huge controversy broke out at the time. Many people also objected to the award having a posthumous mention given the sensitivities over his death. It even ran into litigation at the time. So why do you think the government is raking this all up again?
I don't know that the government is choosing to bring it up. I remember what happened in 1992. At that time, my father, Dr. Shishir Kumar Bose, was alive, as was Netaji's wife, Emily Schenkel. And the Narasimha Rao government had offered the Bharat Ratna, and it was politely declined. The issue about posthumous or not wasn't really the point. Even then, in 1992, it was felt that one should not be offering the Bharat Ratna to Netaji after it had been given to, say, someone like Rajiv Gandhi. It just doesn't make sense. Let us leave Mahatma Gandhi and Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose to belong to another category, a very different category of great men that our country produced in the first half of the 20th century. So it was offered and declined in 1992. Atal Bihari Vajpayee himself was Prime Minister for 6 years. And I believe he is a man who has a sense of history. So he did not bring it up again. I think Vajpayee himself is a perfectly good candidate for the Bharat Ratna. I would be delighted if this new government were to give him that honor. But I would want Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose's name to be left out of these kinds of speculation.
It's important that you mention Atal Bihari Vajpayee because his name is also doing the rounds at the moment. Do you see this as a largely political message to suggest that luminaries who've been ignored by previous governments are now being given their due recognition by this one?
Bharat Ratna is such an award that should not be made sort of a part of partisan politics. And it is possible that there are or there were very distinguished people who have not yet been given the Bharat Ratna. They may well be considered. But I think that Gandhi and Bose are far above party politics. I'm sure that Narasimha Rao had good intentions and good motives when he decided that he wanted to offer the Bharat Ratna, but I think it was an ill-advised move.
But other members of Netaji's family have gone on record to say that they would rather have the government declassify files that could possibly clear up the mystery of Netaji's disappearance. Would you believe that doing that or constituting a special investigation team now could still provide clarity on what happened there?
I think I have provided perfect clarity in the final substantive chapter of my book, His Majesty's Opponent, which you mentioned while introducing me. It's a chapter titled A Life Immortal, where I address the question of the mortal end of a deathless hero. I have seen all the historical evidence that is available, and I have no doubt in my mind that Netaji was the one front-rank leader of the independence movement who laid down his life on the battlefield for freedom. And I believe that the new younger generation in India is mature enough to come to terms with his mortal end. Of course, as a historian, I believe all files should be made open, but I think there is sufficient evidence. And I would also like to say that there is so much to learn from Netaji's book of life. We have to focus on his life and work and not be distracted by the fruitless controversy over his death. And that is a shift of focus that I tried to bring about with my book, His Majesty's Opponent. I realized that the life was greater than the legend and needed to be told.
All right, Professor Sugata Bose, thank you so much for joining us on the Buck Stops here.